Gang, it's Deltia from DeltiasGaming.com, and in this video we're doing something different for Best in Slot, and that's actually seeing if purple to gold gear, so epic to legendary, actually makes a big difference. So we're going to do two tests, one with the weapons and one without, to see if you actually should be upgrading those legendary materials on your body or if the weapons, because some people say the weapons are really important, some people say the body and the traits, so let's just see. So to give you an idea of what I'm doing and what I'm running, I'm just running a very simple old Magic Nightblade build because you guys wanted Magic Nightblade content. So what I'm going to do with this build is try out VMA with 0 CP, using just crafted gear with willpower jewelry. So Eyes of Mara, Magnus. A good, just real simple crafted setup because people can access it pretty easily, and it has good 2 through 4 pieces, and you don't need a 5 piece. So the first test I'm going to run is going to do just a parse dummy here, the 3 million HP one, and that's going to be with purple body pieces. So it's going to be gold weapons, Eye of Mara, and then purple body pieces. The second test is going to be purple weapons with gold gear. So let's see what the percentage gains or increase are. Just keep in mind that these stats aren't exactly perfect because sometimes your rotation, misses here and there, or I might miss a weave or something, but just to get a general idea to save you guys some time and money. This will be the first setup we're going to run, same CP, everything, just we're going to keep the weapons gold. That way we can isolate what's actually the most valuable, the body or the weapon. So first thing we're going to do is purple or epic quality. The skill bars and loadout I'm not completed with, but I'm just using pretty much the standard build that's on my website. Now for PvE, like solo, I like to run Refreshing Path, but if I'm running in a group, you gotta run Twisting. So for this build, I'm running Twisting, and I'm also running Rearming Trap for some extra critical damage. And otherwise, I would probably run Harness Magic over that if I could take a hit on the sustain. So that's kind of where I'm at right here for this build. And I'll have a separate build video on all this stuff, but just so you understand. So with our simple crafted gear setup, we got 22.3, and that's with purple or epic gear on our body. So it's not going to set the world on fire DPS wise, but it's good for the average player that just wants to get in this. So you can see where my main sources of damage are coming from, and really the max damage that Swallow Soul is doing, that's our main spammable or impale. That's kind of the key figures you want to pay attention to. So now let's go legendary this out, and thank you for the materials, Lord Obi, Faker, and Johnny the King. Couldn't have done this without these guys. Alright, so as you can see, this is just the My Build screen. Just upgraded the gear, same exact loadout and everything else. Alright, we're going to go a little faster just so it's not super boring, but just so you can see the proof here and what we're doing. And I'm not hitting that much harder with legendary gear. In fact, really not that much better. So I hate for all these Druwack sellers to go broke, but the results, here they are. And essentially we improved to 22.8. So that's only about a 2% increase, 2 to 3%. Now those numbers and variables will change as I get better with the rotation and get better with the class and so forth. But you can see the max value of Swallow Soul. 14.3 is all it was. So I wasn't using Impale as much often. I was maintaining my blockade and twisting through execute. So that may have changed the results a little bit. But you're really looking at 2, 3, maybe 5% difference on the body. And that's really expensive if you're talking about 50 or so pieces of legendary material to make that. And the final test I want to do is having my legendary material on with purple weapons. So we already seen what full legendary does, and that's 22.8 thousand damage per second. So let's see what this does with purple weapons to see if these things are actually the most important thing you could upgrade. So throwing the purple weapons on here, and the results are pretty good for the weapon changes. Now realize I don't have the weapons enchanted, and I specifically did that on both sets so there wasn't any misconceptions with the proc chances. So it turns out weapons do make a pretty significant difference. Let's check it out. So it dropped my DPS down to basically about 22,000 flat per second, and so that's pretty big significant change. Now I had a max Swallow Soul to 16k, that's because I used it right after an Empower, so that's why you see that number so high there. But really it was in the 13.7 range. So weapons, and this was after I've been parsing for a while, so I got better at my rotation, about 7% difference. So I could see about 7 to 10% difference in a perfect world. And it really seems like there's good value in upgrading the weapons and leaving some of those armor pieces as purple unless you have a flood of material or are going to use this build forever. So my final thoughts on epic versus legendary gear. I think in PvE applications, if you're a min-maxer and you want to squeeze every bit of performance out of your gear, definitely go yellow, go gold, go legendary. But if you're an average player and don't play 12 hours a day like some of these other people, don't spend the gold on it. Really spend the gold on your weapons and some of your jewelry items if you can buy them in gold. I think that provides the biggest value. Now, this was for PvE. PvP. Remember that impenetrable trait gets more powerful the more higher quality it is. So I can see some additional value in using the impenetrable trait and legendarying that material out. But are you going to see monster gains? No. So just to get rid of the rumors and to see what it's actually like, made this video for you guys. Hope you enjoy it. Working on the mag blade. I want to come out with a bunch of different builds for it. So we have a starter crafted only, no CP. We got a PvP build. We got a PvE high-end build. And we got Gil's VMA build. So it'll be something for everyone, Magic Nightblade. Listen to your feedback. Let's get to work.